Chapter 45. The two women were chatting eagerly on the stage as if they were old friends. However, only a few would realize these two were locked in rivalry. Just like two beautiful roses competing. Both were beautiful yet filled with prickling thorns. Dahlia did not feel inferior or dejected, although Natasha had a prestigious background. In fact, it made her more motivated to compete. She had always held herself high and did not give up easily. No matter what difficulties she faced, she would overcome them. It didn't matter that Natasha was known as Swinton's business prodigy. One day, she would be equal to her, or she might even surpass her. I believe everyone has witnessed Ms. Nicholson's charm. Next, I want to introduce another young man. Not only did he save me, but he also helped out the Harmon family a lot. He is undoubtedly the Harmon family's savior. The crowd stirred again once she finished. Everyone looked at each other with awe and curiosity. Who on earth would Natasha call a savior? Chris, could you be the savior she means? Jeff muttered coldly. In his opinion, only an outstanding young man like Chris could fit Natasha's description. Chris, I didn't know you were so important to the Harmon family. Congratulations. Florence smiled brightly, immediately thinking it was Chris. Chris was speechless. The corners of his mouth twitched as he didn't know how to react. He was nothing. How could he be the Harmon family's savior? He wouldn't need to face bankruptcy if he was so capable. Could it be him? Chris suddenly thought of someone but quickly dismissed the thought. No. It wasn't possible. How could a useless nobody be a savior to the Harmon family? Under everyone's anticipating eyes, Natasha paused before saying, "All right, I won't beat around the bush. Now, let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Rhys." Natasha waved her hand, and a spotlight shone on Dustin. Everyone's gaze immediately turned over. Dustin. How could it be him? James was at a loss for words when he recognized who it was. His mouth was agape in shock. It can't be. The Harmon family's savior is the trash, Dustin. At this moment, Florence was also in a state of shock. Her impression of Dustin was someone insignificant and weak. He wasn't capable, nor did he have a good background. How could he have become the Harmon family's savior out of the blue? How? How is it him? Chris gritted his teeth, his hands balled into a fist. Rather than shock, he felt more jealous and frustrated. How? How had that trash catch Natasha's eye? Was he worse than Dustin? In terms of looks, he was better looking. In terms of money, he was the richer. His family background was also far superior to Dustin's. He was more capable and excellent in every way. However, though that woman could recognize a gem, she had gone for some cheap guy. Why was that so? Chris's face was clouded with hatred and resentment. It really is him. As the lights shone on Dustin, Dahlia was surprised and puzzled. She also felt an inexplicable surge of emotions. However, Dustin wasn't happy to be the center of attention at all. What is this woman thinking? She didn't mention that I had to be on stage. Dustin furrowed his eyebrows, unable to make sense of her actions. After a moment of hesitation, he made his way up. Murmurs went through the crowd. Who is this? I've never seen him. I heard he's Ms. Harmon's boyfriend. She wants to take the opportunity to give him some publicity in this opening ceremony. So he's just a gold digger. The crowd started to speculate and discuss. Obviously, many looked down on a man that depended on a woman. I'm very grateful to Mr. Rhys. He's also the Harmon family's savior. I hope everyone will get to know him better in the future. Natasha smiled and wrapped her arms around his shoulders. Her gaze fell on Dahlia at the same time, as if to assert dominance. Dahlia didn't even flinch and remained composed. She even raised her chin provokingly as if to say Natasha could pick up after her trash. Thus, the two women began another battle. Neither wanted to step aside, the gaze burned into each other. At this moment, Dustin realized something was wrong. When had the two of them gotten into a dispute? Weren't they partners? Why did it seem as if they were more like rivals? After a few seconds, they looked away at the same time. They were evenly matched. Ms. Nicholson, I look forward to working with you. Natasha reached out her hand once again. I look forward to working with you too, Dahlia replied with a smile. Sorry, but I'll have to pass the company matters to you now. Dustin and I have something urgent to do. Please, excuse us. Natasha smiled and led Dustin down the stage with her arms around his. Dustin never uttered a word up till this moment. He was just an ornament. Ms. Harmon, as they came down, Chris approached to say a few words. However, Natasha didn't even look at him and spat, "Get lost." Chris froze when she spoke. His last strand of hope fizzled up in flames. He knew Natasha would not let this slide easily. He even started to suspect that the Harmon family was behind the investigation into his company. These bastards. Since you're so merciless, I won't make it easy for you either, he thought. He glared at them and left. Dustin. Dahlia tried to chase him down. Her gaze was fathomless, shining as if she wanted to say something. Go ahead, Mr. Rhys. I'll wait for you in the lounge. Natasha smiled and let go of him. This was because she was confident in herself. You wanted to see me. Dustin slowly turned around. I wanted to ask if the Harmon family choosing me as their partner had anything to do with you, Dahlia clarified without skipping a beat. This matter had been on her mind ever since she found out who Natasha was. 1. Now that she knew Dustin's standing in Natasha's heart, she was starting to have greater doubts.